My friends, let's talk about Christ. Let's talk about the chosen one. No, you're in the right place. This is Howard Riell, Orthodox Jewish Howard Riell, and I want to talk about Christ. Why? Well, it's a very, very interesting question. Let's see what comes of it. Item from the week. Former Texas Representative Beto O'Rourke officially launched his candidacy for the Democratic nomination by declaring to Vanity Fair that he is, quote, just born to be in it, unquote. His supporters seem to have picked up the chosen one undertones already with a sign at a Saturday night rally in Austin, Texas that said, quote, Beto is our Christ, unquote. Okay. Now, as a Jew and an Orthodox Jew, I don't pretend to know a lot about who is and isn't Christ. I know Christians are waiting for him to come back. That's about what I know. But I know one other thing. I know Beto O'Rourke ain't him. Here's another thing I know. People on the left, liberals, simpletons, they look for idols. They look for people to bow in front of. They raise them up to the level of near divinity and worship at their feet. We've seen it time and time again. Something somewhere deep in the dark recesses of the human mind that looks for someone to follow, like a sheep looking for a shepherd. There's Hitler. There's Stalin. There's Mao Zedong. Along very much the same lines, there was Hillary Clinton. People fainting, expiring. Frank Sinatra, the Bobby Soxers, Elvis Presley. People hurl themselves down on their bellies in front of other people. I have no idea why. It would never occur to me to do so. And it would never occur to me to refer to a hack politician like Beto O'Rourke, who just got his ass kicked in his last election bid, who's been going on TV doing interviews looking like a complete dip, looking like a yokel, apologizing all over the place for this or for that. Beto O'Rourke, who is a punchline now, apparently he has people in Austin, Texas who consider him their Christ. Consider this preparation for the 2020 election. Because we've already started on the campaign, right? We're already on the campaign trail. Now, you know that I am an ardent supporter of Donald Trump. Why? Do I say, oh, all hail Donald Trump? Do I fall on the ground in front of him and kiss his shoes? No, I do not. Donald Trump, for all his faults, and he's got them, is the best person to fix what's broken in this country. There's no worship happening here. No idol making. No visions of the clouds parting. Instead, it's a very logical, pragmatic choice. Of all the 17 candidates on that stage back in 2016, taking part in the Republican debates, Trump had the stuff. The others didn't. When Trump is finished after 8 years in the White House, I will say thank you very much, sir. Live and be well. Thanks for everything you've done. I will not be worshiping at the altar of Donald Trump. Liberals find an altar because they need one. It would take a team of psychiatrists to explain exactly why that's so, but that's so. So who's the chosen one? Well, I don't think it's Beto O'Rourke. Look, if you want to disagree with me, call in 877-254-7524. Maybe you think Beto O'Rourke is the second coming. Well, if he is, I hope he comes, tips his hat, and leaves again. Item from the Associated Press. As former Vice President Joe Biden's camp scrambles to contain any political damage over his past behavior with women, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has some words of advice. Keep your distance. Pelosi told a breakfast hour in Washington event on Tuesday, quote, join the straight arm club, unquote. In other words, keep your handshakes at arm's length and don't be touchy-feely. Quote, just pretend you have a cold and I have a cold, Pelosi said. Pelosi said that Biden, quote, has to understand that in the world we're in now, people's space is important to them, and what's important is how they perceive it, not necessarily how you intended, unquote. Dear Nancy, where was that sentiment when Brett Kavanaugh was being fricasseed in front of the Judiciary Committee, about to be lynched and crucified for something that one woman says he did, maybe it was him, 36 years earlier? Where was the advice then, Nan? Where was the compassion? That all I heard was that you got to believe the women, but it turns out that when it comes to power, like Joe Biden or Al Franken or Bill Clinton, it's power that matters. In that case, we don't believe the women because Democrats want power. The hell with the women. The hell with the sexual harassment. The hell with the American people. The Democrats want power. And so Nancy Pelosi may offer some gentle advice to Joe Biden, but no one is going to ride him out of D.C. on the rails. Because he is the Democrat Party's, according to the polls up to the moment, best chance to regain the White House. And so he can do anything he wants to anyone he wants. And believe me, you go on YouTube and you'll see that he has. He has been fondling and groping and rubbing and nuzzling women and children. Go on YouTube yourself if you don't believe me. For decades. He's a slime ball. But he's the Democrats' best hope. And so he's okay. He's not so bad. Because the Democrats are the party of hypocrisy and of lies and of uncaring. They don't care about you, the voter. They care about them, the politicians, the political machine. They care about their power base. And so, no, Joe Biden will not be knocked out of the race by this. He'll continue. Because he is the bread ticket back to power. And that's all that counts. And with Donald Trump, I don't want power. I just want what's fixed and what's broken in the country fixed. I want the ship of state righted again. Another major difference between political conservatives and political liberals. All right, we're going to come back. I got a good show for you today. Remember the call-in number, 877-254-7524. Let me hear from you. Because I love it when people agree with me. This is Real Truth. We will be right back.
Hey, Howard, how's the music so far?
So far, so good. Excellent.
Okay, is it not too loud? It's just good?
Nope, it's fine.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay, hang on.
Good.
We pride ourselves on our clean cut. Visit our website. Our install crew is transforming your backyard. Call me, Brian. Before hiring a realtor from a big corporation who outsources their job and pays little to no tax, ask yourself, what do you want from a realtor? You need a realtor who's honest, has integrity, a realtor who's focused on the client's prospect, not the realtor's prospect, who provides both the customer before, during, and after the transaction. You want a realtor that knows how to market your property. Hi, I'm James Morgan, a realtor with Grisham and Associates LLC. I am a Colorado real estate specialist. Land deals, mountain cabins, or urban dwellings, I've got you covered. For the first-time home buyer, we will make it the best experience. If you are looking to move up or downsizing, we than your last transaction. Call me today at 760-203-0731 or visit coloradoproperties.online. Let me do a great job for you.
All right, guys, welcome back. I wanted to continue about liberalism and throwing people up on the altar to idolize them and AOC, but I'm going to hold on to that because there's something a little bit more important. It's sealing our border. If you're following the news like I am, you see that there are floods of people coming into our country illegally. Our own authorities are, because they have no place to store this human dreck, they're just dropping them off in Tucson, Arizona. It's an outrage. It's going to get innocent people killed, and it's got to stop. Here is Wayne Allen Root, former guest here on Real Truth several times, with Bill O'Reilly, talking about closing the border, why it's necessary. And then in the next segment, we'll talk about your favorite college dancer and mine, AOC. Here we go. Stop. Stop. No, I mean, really, stop. I'm sick and tired of people making the safety and security of this country and its citizens a secondary thought. Yeah, it might cost us some money. Might not. We know it'll cost Mexico a lot of money, which would light a fire under them to get busy protecting their side of the border. But if you're trying to make the case, Mr. O'Reilly, and I hope you're not, that saving money is worth having men, women, children beaten, robbed, raped, murdered, well then I don't know what you're thinking or if you're thinking. National security comes first. It trumps, no pun intended, a whole bunch of other things. It certainly trumps our civil liberties. Amazing things have been done in the name of national security, and O'Reilly, like a lot of other people I'm hearing on TV, well, it's not that important. You know, it's going to cost us a lot of money. So tell me, how much money was Kate Steinle worth? When a drunk, illegal alien slams into a car and kills a mother and a child, how much is that worth? When schoolgirls are getting dragged into the bushes and raped, how much is that worth? So stop already. You know, you got the people in this country, they're terrified. Terrified to take any action. Maybe that explains why they hate Trump so much, because he is a man of action. We can't start a fight with China. It'll cost us a lot of money. Well, we've been losing tens of billions of dollars to China for decades and decades. We're getting our butts kicked by China, so yeah, we better do something. What are you screwing with the Iran deal for? Leave it alone, otherwise terrible things will happen. The Iran deal was an atrocity that will lead to nuclear horror. We had to take action. What are you doing closing the border with Mexico? It's going to cost us... You can't govern. You can't even think clearly if you're scared. The great thing about Trump is that he's not scared. He's a man of action. He sees what needs to be fixed, knows how to fix it, and he sets about fixing it. While chickens like Bill O'Reilly go on their podcast and attempt to lecture him about what he should be doing. Sorry, Bill, but you had it coming.
Well, you know,
Correct. Correct. You mean the chosen one? Yeah, but both. They are liars and idiots, and they want everybody to march in. And by the way, instead of calling him Beto O'Rourke, please call him the chosen one. So why is he saying it? There is a crying emergency in El Paso. He's from El Paso. Why is he saying it? Well, that's easy. Because the Schumers and the Pelosi's and the Beltway told him to say that. Yeah, but... No, there's no yeah, but. Well, that's true, but... No. Democrats take their orders from the top down. The power base at the top and the Beltway give the orders, and Beto O'Rourke is an obedient little sheep, and he will say exactly what he's been told to say and nothing more.
look at him.
Or he's Christ. Excuse me, Bill. Bill's wrong. It's not stupid or dishonest. It's stupid and dishonest. You should. Correct. Bill, what were you expecting the Democrats to put forward as a candidate? An honest, sincere individual? Bill, grow up. You're worth tens of millions of dollars. You should not be less informed, less cynical than I am. Yeah, well, of course the Republicans in Congress don't have a plan. They've only had 10 years to prepare one. So why the hell should they have one? What do you expect them to work for a living? Come on. Come on. All right, hang on one second here. We've got, let's see. Here we go. We've got an issue with the video. Hold on. They have had 10 years to cook up a replacement plan for Obamacare, and they still haven't got one. That's pretty tragic, isn't it? Here we go.
They claim other Republicans appear if you believe what's in the newspapers. Other Republicans appear if you believe what's in the newspapers. Of course, they lie about Trump every day. They claim in a recent newspaper article
Excuse me. Where is my free health care? I said on the show yesterday that last year my health care costs got notched up just for me alone, all by myself, to over $800 a month. So does someone in the Democrat Party owe me $800 a month? I mean, that would make my health care free, right?
Medicare for everybody. Medicaid for everybody.
That's a very good point. Folks, I hope that I'm relatively confident that if you're in my regular listening audience, you're not going to be scammed by anybody. When a politician comes and says, here's free stuff, you know that nothing is free. Nothing is free. There's no free health insurance like there's no free college. And so when politicians or a political party come to you promising free health care, free college, free this, free that, free this, run. They're lying to you. They're scamming you. They're trying to hornswoggle you. Healthcare has to be paid for, but it doesn't have to be as expensive as it has been. And that's why the Republicans need to get off their butts and cook up a plan. We'll be right back.
Or hiring a realtor from a big corporation who outsources their jobs and pays little to no tax. Ask yourself, what is wrong with the realtor? You need a realtor who's honest and has integrity. A realtor who's focused on the client's bottom line, not the realtor's bottom line. Who provides predictable, over-the-top service before, during, and after the transaction. You want a realtor that knows how to market your property. Hi, I'm James Morgan, a realtor with Grisham and Associates LLC. I am your Colorado real estate specialist. Land deals, mountain cabins, and urban dwellings, I've got you covered. For the first-time home buyer, we will make it the best experience. If you are looking to up or downsizing, we will do better than your last transaction. Call me today at 720-203-0731 or visit ColoradoProperties.online. Let me do a great job for you.
In the meantime,
All right, we are back. Howard Riell, Real Truth, 877-254-7524. Now, we were talking about the Democrats throwing idiots up on an altar to be worshipped if they think that the idiots can bring them power, right? Beto O'Rourke, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, you name it. What about Michael Avenatti? Remember him? He's a jackass lawyer for Stormy Daniels, sleazeball from the word go. He's in jail at the moment. He wanted to be president, and if you ever saw him in any of his 60 or 100, 150 appearances on CNN and MSNBC, they ate up every word that slimed out of his mouth. Well, I think he's sliming out of the other side of his mouth right now. Here are Tucker Carlson and Mark Stein from Fox. All right, well, we go from the creepy porn extortionist, who everyone was talking about, he could be our next president of the Democrat Party. Let's stay with Tucker Carlson, but let's go to AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has people talking about changing the law so that someone under 30 could be president, because after all, she's the Democrat Party's newest wunderkind. Here we go.
But people get drunk on New Year's Eve to forget it. It's sad to think that a whole year is over. But if you think New Year's is depressing, how would you feel if you thought that all life on this planet was ending soon? 3 million years of human history erased forever. Sad, isn't it? Chris Hayes thinks so. Chris Hayes is what every man would be if feminists ever achieved absolute power in this country. Apologetic, respectful, and deeply, deeply concerned about global warming and the patriarchal systems that cause it. On Friday, Hayes hosted a town hall event on MSNBC with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who was designed to promote her Green New Deal. This apparently seemed like a wise idea to executives over at NBC. The very same news outlet that spent 2 years lying to you about Russia brings you a 29-year-old former bartender to teach you about science. Hayes framed the terms of the exhibition. I want you to do exactly what Dr. Ocasio-Cortez says. The entire human race has only 12 years to live. What we have to do to avoid the most catastrophic effects of climate change is to cut emissions in half in 12 years.
My friends, let me ask you a serious question. How is a putz like this on national television? And I'm not trying to be flip. The guy clearly hasn't got 40 IQ points to rub together. He's an obvious fool, and yet I promise you he's making over $1 million a year headlining this show on MSNBC. So where do they get people like this? What connection did he have to the higher-ups that got him into a job like this? I'd like to know. Not that I would do what he must have had to do to get the job, but I'd just like to know.
12 years. That's the project.
12 years.
By the Earth has come a bold new policy proposal that might be the most controversial thing in American politics at the moment. You've probably heard of it. It's called the Great Rebuke. Some people call it a socialist monster. Some people call it our only hope for survival here. We realize that we hold here.
Yeah, it's our only hope for survival. That must be why it was voted down 52-0 when it was put up for a vote in the Congress.
Only hope for survival. Holy smokes, that is terrifying. Help us, Chris Hayes. What is this life raft, this humanity-saving antidote that alone can prevent the death of our children? Well, the good news is that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has the cure for human extinction. All we have to do is obey her. She's a very, very good people.
In my framework, in my belief, that we not just have a wealthy society, but that we have a moral society.
Wait a second. How does a member of Congress who hasn't yet turned 30, someone who's never even raised children, get the right to lecture me about morality? Well, that's the difference between you and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She is a highly decent person. Listen to her explain how she doesn't resort to ad hominem attacks, unlike her enemies, who, by the way, are xenophobic white supremacists.
We're actually talking about something substantive. We're not calling anyone names. People say Tea Party is the left. And I find this phrase very interesting, this phrasing very interesting, because the grounding of the Tea Party was xenophobia, the underpinnings of white supremacy.
These moronic statements are being applauded on MSNBC.
Yeah, stop at the name card, you racist white supremacist xenophobe. So it's official. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a moron, and nasty, and more self-righteous than any televangelist who ever preached a sermon on cable access. She's not impressed that she's awful. So how did she get so famous? Why do people like her? Well, if we're being honest, we gotta say it's because not everything she says is wrong. Listen to this clip. It's from the same town hall. Ocasio-Cortez takes a break from her idiotic climate theology to offer what turns out to be a fairly insightful critique of the American economy.
We have runaway income inequality. we're at one of our most unequal points,
Unequal.
economically speaking, in American history. We are dealing with a crisis of how our economy is even made up. Our economy is increasingly financialized, which means we are making profits.
You got that, my friends? The economy is financialized. You want to get that financialosity-ishness out of the economy. Because once the economy gets financial, well, then oh, man, you've got real problems. The economy is too financialized. I want you to write that down. As soon as you write it down, I want you to crumple it up in the toilet, throw it in the toilet bowl, and flush it. This is what passes for a Congress member on the Democrat side. This is what has captured the imaginations of Democrats nationwide. Like giving a baby a balloon, filled with hot air, enjoyed by a simple mind. We'll be back.
We have a serious 2025.
Your home built in 1965 and 1975. It's so may have a little bit of water. These homes are about 50 years old. These homes are power. The number of back today. And a little bit of water does not get back to the time.
All right, folks, welcome back to Real Truth. What's coming in 2020 and beyond? What's happening in 2019? Well, I'll answer that for you. Better yet, I'm going to let Glenn Beck answer it for you because he is about to expatiate about just that. So listen.
2025. It could be wrong, could be later. But I think by 2025, we won't recognize the world we live in. 2025, 2040. We will talk about it in that. I think the world is heading towards war is war. And you have to remember that war is a way to reset culture. You reset history. You reset military systems. You change borders.
Well, you know what? It's very interesting that he mentions chaos, because that's really what we're fighting against. Remember Get Smart? Maxwell Smart, Don Adams. It was control versus chaos. And that's what it boils down to. I'm not trying to be funny. The Republicans, most of the Republicans, conservative politicians, want control. Because adults know you have to have control of something in order to guide it, direct it. The Democrats want chaos. Down with the borders. We don't care who comes in. We don't need to vet them. Down with ICE. We don't need people being thrown out of the country just for committing horrifying crimes. Raise taxes. Why not? We don't care what it does to the economy. Is there a male and female anymore? No, it's whatever you feel like. There's a broad spectrum of sexual identities now. The Democrats are the party of chaos. And the Republicans are the party of control. With all due respect to Maxwell Smart. And Glenn Beck is right when he when he frames the discussion that way. And maybe I've been remiss in not framing it more clearly, more succinctly that way. We need control of our borders. We need control of our money. We need control of our society. If you read the Bible like I do, you remember way back in the very, 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 very beginning, there was chaos. Tohu vavohu. Disorder, chaos, a melange of everything. God stepped in and began separating these things out, creating order. So if you believe, as I do, that our job on earth is to emulate God, to follow his examples, well, here's the first lesson he gave us in the Bible. Order from chaos. Order from chaos. That's what the next election will be about. It's what every election is about these days. It's what the American discussion is about these days. Do we want order or chaos? And if we want order, are we willing to do what needs to be done to maintain order? That's what it boils down to. So I tip my hat to Glenn Beck for framing it that way. And I'm going to be thinking in those terms too from now on. We're going to take a break. We'll be back, have a little order, and we'll finish with some chaos. I'm just kidding. We'll be right back anyway. Item from the Washington Times. For most people, the pain of mass illegal immigration has been abstract. That's about to change. Mexican officials warn of another caravan of 20,000 migrants preparing to shoot north, hoping to take advantage of the lax enforcement in both Mexico and lenient policies in the U.S. About 100,000 immigrants responding to those incentives have been nabbed at the border in March alone. The result is an illegal immigration superhighway that's flowing through Mexico, one senior Homeland Security Department official told the Washington Times. Unquote. My friends, don't forget my suggestion. All the politicians, the leaders in the Congress and the presidents over the last 40, 50 years who could have sealed the border and didn't should be prosecuted. Item from Breitbart. Students at Hofstra University in Long Island, New York, demanded on Friday that the school remove a statue of Thomas Jefferson, arguing that it's not possible for the university to have the statue on campus while also being an institution that, quote, prides itself on diversity and inclusion, unquote. My friends, here I am again faced with an opportunity to say I told you so. It was probably a couple of years ago that I said, wait. Sooner or later, they're going to want to pull down statues of Thomas Jefferson. People said, no, come on, college students will never be that stupid. I told you so. Item from the Smoking Gun. Well, his actual name is Jimmy Maurice Lewis II, the 37-year-old convicted felon who spent years in federal prison following a 2008 bank robbery conviction. Lewis was arrested Saturday in connection with the March 22 robbery of a Bancorp South branch in Gulfport, Mississippi. Cops initially identified the suspect as, quote, black female in her mid to late 30s. Investigators subsequently identified Lewis as a suspect and nabbed him in the Houston, Texas airport upon his arrival on a flight from Mexico, where Lewis appears to have undergone some kind of cosmetic procedure. My friends, that's pretty cute. You rob a bank as a man, you become a woman, and so it discredits every witness. Your Honor, the witness just said he saw a man rob the bank, and here sits before you a woman. Item from Bloomberg. Millennials snapped up $28 million worth of art inspired by the Simpsons television show, along with skateboarding shoes and cans of spray paint at a Sotheby's auction in Hong Kong as a new generation of collectors comes of age. Unquote. My friends, millennials are collecting pictures of the Simpsons. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Because for all the yammering I do about how American society is plummeting, here's the proof. The Simpsons is now fine art to be auctioned off at the world's most famous auction house. That's what we, the baby boomers, have done to the next generation. All right, we're all done. I'll be back in 23 hours with more warnings of apocalypse to come, otherwise known as Real Truth. Until then, I wish you well. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay angry. Hasta lumbago.